All right, rolling, continue.
Okay. Based on your observations, how would you say the increase in terms of people wanting to use renewable energy has occurred in St. Lucia? Has it been increased rapidly or?
It's been a slow uptake, right? Based on my observations, the uptake has been slow. In the past few years, we are seeing increased interest, but in terms of actual adoption, it's been rather slow.
And would you say that shared information about things like climate change would have a role to play in that increased interest?
I think it would, because there is a subsection of the public who are more inclined to being climate conscious, and if we can tap into that, then we may be able to increase the early adoption of renewable energy technologies.
And how would you say increasing our use of renewable energy is of direct benefit to locals? Like if somebody were to come to you and say, well, what's the benefit of me changing from diesel fuel generated energy as opposed to just like something as broad and global as climate change? What's the benefit for me as an individual, would you say?
Okay, so this one, you have to look at it in terms of being an interconnected country. When I say an interconnected country, we have almost 100% coverage when it comes to persons having access to electricity. So moving away from diesel power to renewable energy ad hoc, so one person at a time, it minimizes the benefit that we have. But if we as a nation were to adopt larger utility scale power that directly competes with diesel generation, then persons will see greater increase. So it has a lot to do with persons being willing to accept the larger installations, because larger installations tend to compete with lands, unlike rooftop installations. And once persons can come to terms with having these larger installations, then they would be able to see the greatest benefit in terms of climate change. You would see the greatest benefit in terms of greenhouse gas reduction, in terms of pollution reduction, and so on and so forth. So, in my opinion, for us to see the greatest benefit to the environment, we need to work at a utility scale.
And do you know of instances in St. Lucia where large areas of land are being used for energy generation of any kind?
There is one instance so far, that is Latony Beaufort, where we have our 3 megawatt utility scale solar farm. There are other planned or proposed instances, as in the wind farm in Dennery and the geothermal sites that are to be explored throughout the Choiseul area. So these areas, but the main functioning instance right now would be the solar farm in Latony Beaufort.
And the ones that are, I guess, being initiated now, do you know of any like timelines and plans to have them established?
Well, in terms of timelines, there's no hard and fast timeline, because one must appreciate that when it comes to renewable energy, things need to be planned out, feasibility studies need to be taken into account. All of these measures need to be put in place. So unlike diesel generation, where you install a diesel plant and you just have it operating, for renewable energy, you need to make sure that you're maximizing the use of the resource.
And similar to the previous question, if someone were to make the claim that St. Lucia increasing its use of renewable energy will have little to no effect on the broader issue of climate change, what would your response to that be?
Basically, I would say that there is nothing that would affect us more in terms of climate change than adding renewable energy to our mix. One of our major contributors when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions is our energy consumption, and our energy consumption is increasing year by year. If we continue to meet that demand by diesel, then we're going to continue to increase our CO2 emissions and the detrimental impact that it has. Renewable energy directly counteracts that. It is clean energy, it is green energy, it is energy that can directly reduce CO2 emissions. And for a small island developing state like St. Lucia, as I said earlier, which does not produce oil, which only has what is natural to it, that is what we need to use, and that is where we would see the greatest benefit in terms of climate change.
Okay. And St. Lucia has a goal to generate 45% of the country's energy from renewables by 2020. Do you know how close we are to achieving that?
Unfortunately, not as close as we would have liked to be, but we have come a long way. We have done a lot in a short space of time, especially looking at the past 5 years or so. But in terms of our projections, we're not where we wanted to be.
Okay. What are your projections for the use of renewable energy in St. Lucia over the next 10 to 50 years?
Over the next 10 to 50 years, if we really work with the plan that was set out, as there was a national energy transition strategy that was set out for St. Lucia, which looks at a transition of our energy portfolio to about 75% renewable energy, which just keeps a little bit of diesel to ensure that we have a stable grid. If we continue along this pathway and we have the buy-in from the general populace, then St. Lucia by the year 2050 could be close to 100% renewable and still have a stable energy generation portfolio.
And what would that look like for us? Energy being used in what ways?
It would look like opportunities for greater investment, because one of the things that really reduces possibilities for investment is a stable energy price, and a portfolio like that can produce a stable energy price. You know what your energy price is going to look like for the next 20 years, so you can make long-term investments. It would look like prosperity for the persons of the country. We don't have foreign exchange going out every year that has to go to buying diesel and buying oil-based products. It would look like a more advanced St. Lucia, where persons can now adopt certain technologies that have synergies with renewable energy, such as the electrification of vehicles, such as smart cities and smart grids.
Okay, alright, that's it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm sure
To
we'll
sync.
do a round of applause.
Oh, that's to sync. You need it to sync.